Hey, Thomas here, and Jonathan's on camera right now, and this video is going to be dedicated to answering some of your questions. We saw a lot of great ones, especially on the last video we posted about the 10-minute six-pack workout. So we wanted to dedicate this video to answer some of your most important questions. So let's go ahead and jump into this. First one is from, and this is a shout out to I Am Spicy 18, great name there. And he says, I'm 6 foot tall and I have a really strong core, but I have some body fat, not a lot, but enough to show that I can't show a six-pack. I do free running almost every day. Would that be enough to get rid of all the fat? So that's a great question, and you might not be doing free running. You might be doing other things. You might be doing weightlifting. You might be doing acrobatics. You might be doing calisthenics, things like this. If you're working out and you have that belly fat there, so for him, he's doing free running almost every day. For some people, this will be enough. But obviously, if you're in that position where you're not seeing your six-pack then, or at this point, then more than likely you need to be focused on one of the most important things for leaning and taking away some of that belly fat or just overall body fat is your nutrition. So you need to have a very clean diet, and it's going to take a lot of effort in that area. Also, another thing you got to think about is your genetics. So we didn't really touch on this, and a lot of people don't touch on this in videos about six-packs, but for some people, especially women, six-pack can actually be going to that low body fat percentage, can actually be unhealthy for some people. So just know that a six-pack is not the end-all be-all. The most important thing you want to focus on is being the healthiest version of yourself. So whether that means you have a six-pack or not, that doesn't matter. You want to have that good core strength, you want to have good nutrition, you want to have that good lean body, but you just want to be the healthiest version of yourself. So some of us, it might not mean getting a six-pack. If you look at some of the best athletes in the world, some of them don't have six-packs. People, and they're in really good shape. So keep that in mind, and just know that for you, if you're training, you have your workouts on point right now, and for a lot of us, that might not be enough. So nutrition is going to be a big one. Also, the type of workouts you're doing. Many people, when I see them doing free running or they're training, they're doing basically not going high intensity with it. And what studies have shown is one of the most effective ways and efficient ways, the quickest way to really burn off fat is going high intensity. So this is high intensity interval training. That's what we recommend. So you're doing short bursts of intense exercises, raising that heart rate and raising that intensity, and then you're relaxing and then raising that intensity and relaxing. So if you're not already doing that, add that into your training. And that's one of the things we recommend in our rapid primal fitness or RPF4 method is we combine HIIT. We also give you a nutrition guideline, because what we found is in our Get Fit challenges, the guys who really lost the most body fat, they implemented specific nutrition steps. And a few of those steps were just very simple here. Cutting off refined sugar, so eliminating refined sugar. That was a huge one for people. Some people who just did that saw overall body fat loss really quickly. That, and also lowering refined or eliminating refined carbs. So that's going to be your white breads, your white pastas. Go for something like wild rice, quinoa. Go for whole grains. That's going to do really well. Those two things are going to be some of the most powerful things for you eliminating that body fat with your nutrition. And then, of course, just going with how your body feels and trying out different things. And then don't want to forget having a good amount of vegetables and fruits in your diet, and have a good percentage of those raw, so you get those live enzymes and you're, eating a good clean diet. So I touched on a lot of different things there. I think a big one for you is going to be focused on the nutrition, really cleaning that up. And if you're not doing that high intensity training, start implementing that into your routine. And remember, don't worry too much about just getting that six-pack. Really focus on being the healthiest, strongest version of yourself. So we got some time for some more questions. I'm gonna switch it over to Jonathan so you can see the long-haired version of myself. Got it going on. Okay, so I want to jump on some of these comments. Okay, Ethan Weaver, he was the first comment, so congrats on that. A big shout out to you for being the first. It's pretty tough, there's a lot of subscribers, so congrats on that. We also got a comment from Robert Cromwell, and he says, stop with the long-winded explanations, just give me the workouts. And yeah, I totally understand. Some of our videos are pretty long, and we talk about a lot of different things.
And the reason why we do that, we want to start putting out some different shorter videos and stuff, but the reason why we have them so long like that is that usually, first, a lot of people learn differently, so we try to touch to those different learning styles. So we try to touch on why you should be learning the exercise, what are the things that you should be doing, what are the steps, where did we get the exercises from. So we like to touch on a lot of different things because some people like to learn more about different parts, and so we try to add that into each of the videos. Now, and for example, like what Thomas just touched on, because there's a lot of different things that go into each subject that we talk about, and we really want to give you as much as we can so you can be successful at what you're doing. So for example, Thomas was talking about the six-pack. Well, there's actually some other things you can do too to help get you that six-pack to get it even faster. So if you're having trouble losing body fat, another big thing that attributes to body fat, especially around the midsection, is having a lot of stress. So if you're experiencing a lot of stress through the day, you're releasing a lot of cortisol, which has been linked in studies to show that it actually puts more fat in your midsection when you're experiencing a lot of cortisol or the stress. So if you eliminate that stress, you're going to be able to eliminate belly fat much easier. It's also going to make it easier for your body to build muscle, because when you're experiencing a lot of stress, it's harder to build muscle. So for the six-pack, you have to cut fat and you have to build the abdominal muscles. So when you cut down stress, it's going to make that a lot easier for you. So there's a lot of different little things like that. Also with with the workouts, Thomas mentioned HIIT, but also long endurance cardio can also be beneficial. It takes longer, it's not as convenient, but if you combine those two, if you combine HIIT and just 30 minutes of just cardio, that's a really killer combination. And people's bodies react differently, so you might see that the HIIT may just be really good for you, or you might find out that the longer, slower endurance cardio might work out a little bit better. So it's really up to you to try different things, and especially if you're really overweight, the HIIT might be a little too intense at first. So you can start out by doing the more just basic cardio, and then once you start cutting down a little bit of that fat, then move into the HIIT exercises. So just wanted to touch on that because that is a really good comment. Our videos are pretty long sometimes, but we just try to put as much as we can into them, and we are planning on trying to put out some shorter ones and see how you guys like those as well. Now we're going to finish off with this last comment. I know this video is getting pretty long, but we're going to do it anyway. So this last comment is from Robert Benkowski, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'm a fan of your vids, and I believe you should do more parkour. I mean, if you took a specific part of a move and show how it's done, this will get more views on your channel and help you grow. And that's a really great comment. Really like the feedback. So if you've been on our channel a while, you've noticed that we've gone more into talking about basics and fitness. And the reason why we did that is because we have a ton of parkour videos, by the way. So most people who comment, they haven't seen all of our parkour videos. So if you go into our channel, you'll see a playlist with all of our parkour videos, and there's a ton of them. And I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Thomas.
Yeah, one of the biggest important things that we learned in parkour, even when you're training parkour, is when we got to the opportunity to train with some of the first generation athletes. And when you watch our videos, you see us doing amazing stunts. And I really feel that we left this out early on, because when training with some of the first generation, Laurent Piemontesi told me specifically 80% of your training is going to be conditioning, 20% is play or the parkour action you see. So a lot of people get the misconception of what parkour, a lot of parkour athletes, the best in the world. When we trained with David Bell, he's well in his 40s, doing action for this film, and his technique, his foundation points were insane. You could tell that kind of body type, and to be able to train at the high level he does at the age he's at right now, only comes from training the foundation points and those basics for hours and focusing on that. Like Laurent told us, 80%. So early in our videos, I feel like we actually left out a lot of the knowledge that you should have been getting early with parkour, and that is developing those basic foundational points of getting your mobility, getting your flexibility, getting that core strength, and just getting those movement patterns, so then you could go into the parkour movements and learn it much faster. Because like Jonathan was saying, what we're talking about, the biggest problem that we saw when we were sharing the tutorials, the parkour tutorials, is people were lacking those foundation points, their strength, they need to cut fat, and this is holding them back. And if if you don't have that on point, what you're going to see is a lot of injuries, especially when you go into advanced calisthenics, advanced movement, and you're just not going to be able to learn near as fast. So just know that that's what the founders did. They trained and conditioned with bodyweight exercises, things like this. And so that's what we're doing now with our channel. We're kind of going back to what we should have started with developing those basics and those foundation points and giving you what you really need to succeed in parkour and those other things.
All right, so that's it for this video. I know it went pretty long. We really wanted to answer a lot of those comments. We thought they were really good, and we plan on trying to do this, after a lot of our newer videos coming out to really answer the questions that you have. And if you want to take your training further, remember that you can go in the link in the description where you can pick up one of our first workouts, and we talk more about our RPF4 method that we've kind of mentioned. And there's a lot of other cool links down below you can check out just from the previous video. So thanks for joining us in this video. Subscribe for more like this, and we'll see you in the next one.